here we go. Yeah, good. Okay, it worked this time. I just tried it and it said I didn't have permission. So then I redid it and then it worked. Woohoo! It's great to be with you this morning. How exciting. I hope you're well. I hope you're as excited as I am, because that's very exciting. Do you have any idea why? Oh my goodness. Hi, I'm Laura J. You may already be aware of that. But what I wanted to do today is actually share with you a section from the interview that Andrew Tate did with Tucker Carlson. I want to also say that today, from 4 till 7 at Vivian's Country Cookin' in Courtland, we are going to be meeting for the first social of its kind. I have been preparing an email that now I am turning into a blog I'll be posting as soon as I am able to get it done. But in the meantime, I wanted to give you an opportunity to listen to what I was listening to this morning. An alcoholic lawyer changed his life at 40. Interesting. Imagine what you can do if you choose to actually take your power back. Let's see.
Did men live here? That men live here. If you turn up in someone's house and their house is pristine, you're probably going to take your cup and you're going to go put it in the kitchen. But if you turn up in somebody's house and it's a fucking mess, and nobody respects the house and nobody cares, and the man is drugged out of his mind, half asleep on the couch, what are you going to do with your cup? You're going to leave it there. You don't give a shit. If you turn up to the Western world and look at it,
then you're going to hit on his wife.
Absolutely. So what do we expect to happen in these scenarios, right? And it is purposeful, and it is scary that even me just telling men to go to the gym is seen as an act of defiance, to the point where I have to be punished. I must go to jail. I must be silenced. Thermometer must be broken.
If at the end of all of this, no matter what happens, do you plan to stay in Romania?
I love Romania. I love this country. And if I am found not guilty, I will stay in Romania. Yeah, I will still stay here. I don't believe in running away. I also believe, and perhaps this is...
Yeah, I didn't even want to ask you that because you've got a legal case pending, but I mean, presumably you're rich enough to run away when you haven't.
Correct. I'm not going anywhere. I think if I was anywhere in the Western world, this would have happened to me. I don't think this is Romania's fault. Let's put it that way. I don't think this is Romania's fault. I think if I resided in Switzerland or France or Italy, the same thing would happen. From knowing what I know, I think it was going to happen to me regardless. And I think I do have a large amount of sympathy, especially amongst the Romanian population. I get thousands of messages a day from Romanians apologizing to me. I think the people here actually like me.
My waiter at lunch yesterday is one of them. He wanted you to know, yeah.
Oh, amazing. This is what I mean. Everyone understands what's happening. My problem is not with Romania. I don't hold any personal grudges against Romania. I think that this Matrix attack was going to come to me.
What is the Matrix?
Good question. I guess some Americans call it the deep state, but I like to look at it in a more global way. When I say the Matrix, I think there are certain agendas which are being pushed. I think the media machine and the judicial systems of the world work together hand in hand. I think the goal is to control people's minds to a point where they don't discuss anything that's important. The reason I use the Matrix is because I've watched that movie a few times and it has so many similarities to the... Have you seen the movie?
No.
You've never seen the movie The Matrix?
No, I don't watch any movie. I don't want to talk about it on camera. No, I'm very dyslexic and it's hard for me to watch video.
Got it. Understood. But there's so many similarities, and the basic premise is that humans' minds are controlled and put inside of a false reality so that their body heat can be manifested for the machines. And I don't think it's much different to reality. Our minds are controlled. We're put in a false version of reality. We're told things aren't true. We're arguing over things that don't matter. We're observing a false version of events. And the goal of it is just to distract us long enough for our bodies to be used for the machines, to soul us. And I think it's pretty similar, striking similarities. And even then, there's a bunch of other similarities which are difficult for me to explain. You haven't watched the movie, but there are agents inside of the Matrix, and the idea of the agent, the purpose of the agent is to make sure that nobody understands how the Matrix really works and to wake anybody's mind up. They want to keep you asleep. And any person can become an agent at any time. If they're not unplugged, if their mind is not free, they can become an agent, and their job is to keep you asleep. And you see agents all the time. COVID awoken me to agents. When I would sit and talk to somebody and they seemed perfectly rational and normal until I mentioned COVID, and then they'd fully change. No, it's dangerous. No, what do you mean? What do you mean? Are you crazy? My grandma got sick. And they became an agent instantly and started repeating the news to me. And I was like, Your grandma got sick. How old is she? 97? Interesting. Oh, I better lock myself in my house then. Dumbass. So agents exist and the matrix exists, and I think most people's version of the world is a false one. The idea and the world that most people have in their mind and how society functions and how all these things function, I genuinely believe is completely false. I think they've all been lied to. I don't think anybody understands how any of the world works. And I try and use some very simple, very simple analogies to wake people up. I said to one of my friends once, I said, if me and you could play video games for $10,000 and you could cheat, would you cheat? He goes, well, no. I was like, if I was whooping your ass and it was 10 grand a game and you could cheat, would you cheat? He goes, yeah. I was like, all right, so you accept that people cheat to win in a video game for a menial amount of money. You think they're not going to cheat for something that matters?
I think so.
They're not going to cheat for something important? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
how about to get the most important job in the world, President of the United States?
I would never kill myself.
I mean, people kill each other over insurance fraud. You don't think, right?
Yeah. So when you actually understand how the world really works.
He's not going to suicide himself, is what he's saying.
I remember there was this big military coup in, was it Myanmar or Burma? One of these, there was a big military coup like a year ago or something. Nobody really cared. They mentioned it on the news a little bit. And I looked at it, I looked into it, and they were talking about how the two political parties were almost 50-50. And then in the 90s, something changed. And now one political party just smokes the other one. And the military took over to restore democracy and all this stuff. It's very interesting to voting machines they used. Interesting. Something to look into.
A lot of countries like that. Philippines, also true. Why do you think support for the war in Ukraine, support for Ukraine's side in the war against Russia, support for a war against Russia in the West is kind of the bottom line issue for the people who run the US government and for the American media? Why? I mean, I guess you could argue about it, but there isn't an argument about it in the United States. There's a position, and anyone who doesn't hold it is attacked and punished. Why? Why is that so important?
Well, the first thing I think we should all do is I think we should all give Putin credit for curing COVID, right? Because when his invasion happened, COVID went away. So
thought about that.
Think about it. It's almost to the day. So we have to give him some credit at least for doing that. And maybe the bad guy of the world, but at least he cured COVID for everybody nearly instantly. Fair. Thank you, President Putin. Yeah, I up until this point never really commented too heavily on politics.
Yes,
but I understand very well. I like to believe what's happening with Ukraine and Russia. And what I will say to the people who are watching this at home is that if you are naive enough to believe that there are good guys and bad guys in wars, and it's as simple as good and bad, and that the bad guys are crazy, the good guys want freedom, then you need to do a little bit more investigation into what's really happening. And when you look at the vested interest of any country or any person.
Can I just ask you to pause and just comment? That's the truest thing, what you just said. That is and anyone who doesn't understand that should shut the fuck up. And I mean it. Having seen war, anyone who's telling you that it's Churchill versus Hitler is an idiot.
Complete. Well, I'll give you an example. When my father was.
So I wanted to share that with you because I think it's poignant. And I'm sending an email. This is the auto subscriber that I pay for, Aweber. So it automatically replaces the name with the email address's name that corresponds to the profile. And then people will receive this message, which I'm also going to turn into a blog because I think it's really important. And I wanted to share with you. My intent was to complete another email within 66 days to transform your self-image series while enjoying some brain numbing of watching the boob tube, as some call the television I was streaming someone else's dream into my consciousness with. But this message seems too pertinent to wait on. I'm thinking about tonight's meeting from 4 till 7. And who is going to be there and what the point of gathering is. And I want to make this meeting as effective and fun as possible. So I'm creating a loose guide for the experience with awareness that dynamics will influence outcomes if emotions aren't under wraps. Community requires effective communication and compassionate care for citizens. We are the ones that need to find peace within our own selves in order to find peace with each other also. Space and territory are important from a personal identity perspective. So we feel uneasy when uncertain about the certainty of our things remaining ours. What is proper to us, per, reflects being in their own person with firsthand testimony or claim to it, which is what pro plus per together mean. There is no firsthand testimony. If there is no firsthand testimony, then there is no right for a third party to interfere with private matters. If you ever get a call from a debt collector, did you realize your agreement was never with that third party who's now interfering with your freedom, which means they're infringing if you actually advocate for yourself and let them know that you know the agreement needed to be made between the parties that are actually seeking resolution, not a third party that comes in order to do the dirty work for the one that just wants to get back to their regular business. The same is true with legal professions, who are third parties who are paid to care for that particular case for as long as the bond taken out against our trust account with our person is ultimately profitable for the corporation, the man or woman wearing a suit, title, and profession of lawyer, paralegal, or any other form of legal professional, including court clerks, and also professional whips to keep candidates or elected politicians along party lines. This is real, and it all sounds really crazy. And then we wake up to the reality that it's no sign of health or measure of it to be well adjusted to a toxic society just because it's the common and popular thing to do. We got to look after our best interest, which is one another, which is why we've been systematically separated through 4D mental constructs that keep us thinking we're talking about different things when the truth is, it's literally words talking about all things, creator, God, source, Allah, whatever you want to call the all, almighty, whatever this energy that all of it is, broken into little fragments in order to experience itself as the all by becoming only just a piece of it to be able to experience all of it except for the piece that we are, which is why we are the least known piece of this whole puzzle, and why doing the inner work is what we must do in order to become the city's ends that actually have peace in our hearts. There's a mixed war between the public and private underway, and identities are used to entrap us. Resolving karmic issues between people while here is best done in community with group support. Forgiveness is a personal practice, and it requires practice. By practicing it, and it will be easier to forgive some people than others. So, if you've got a huge issue that you need to forgive, or someone that did something so destructive to you, the ultimate act of betrayal that you just can't get over it, I recognize that betrayal is a gift that only those souls that love us the very most are willing to give us, because we on a soul energetic level know that what soul ties we create in this life need to be resolved one way or another. Come on, Mama. Oh, you can't go down there. And dude, he got right underneath my hands, and then he collapsed in order to be on the ground down there. So maybe he's just not meant to be on camera. So, cutting ties with parasitic entities and people feeding off of us is part of setting better boundaries. Maneuver through the integration phase of reincorporating energy previously trapped in the not now. So we basically have to go back and find the baby parts of us. He's got some little wet cat food in his chin, like his little beard. That's so funny. Okay. Jordy's coming today. I'm so excited. Okay. Side point, and most exciting in my world to an extent, but the social is super exciting. And we're also having a movie night tomorrow night, 7:05 in Tilsonburg at Broadway Cinemas. We're going to be watching Sound of Freedom. And then the cinema have actually given us an opportunity to talk about it afterwards. I need to get a poster together, but I'm working on a lot of other things, so I haven't had a chance to do that since it was kind of just a last minute opportunity that I thought would be a really great one for anyone that is showing up and just wants to have a discussion about it. But anyway, that is Tilsonburg Tuesday, tomorrow at 7:05. And today from 4 till 7, we are having the social at Vivian's. So please come out if you are local. It's $30 for your meal and coffees and teas throughout the eve. And you pay that directly at the door to Vivian. But if you could message me, I would appreciate knowing what your order would be. There's a salad bar, and then the meal options are a beef brisket dinner, chicken parmesan dinner, which is a pasta, and then there's a Buddha bowl. So I'm getting the Buddha bowl, and I'm pretty excited to try that. Georgie's getting the beef brisket, so I know I can at least try that too. So, woo! All right, so understand a simple explanation of dimensionality as to how it relates to the present moment. So we're going to talk about the dimensions from my perspective in terms of the incorporation of our identities and how to disconnect from those entities. And we're going to release yourself from the bondage of the mitote or matrix reality we've been taught to believe in. The mitote comes from Don Miguel Ruiz's Four Agreements book, where he talks about the grand delusion, essentially, that we're all living within in this 4D mental construct, 3D reality that we're actually on the plane of, with other planes overlaid on top of it. So we're going to cord that power. You have decorded your energy from power structures you've invested your team into that are toxic, so that you can cord that power back into your personal power centers or energy portals, which are the chakras, by channeling that energy in creative and constructive ways. So that was the email I wanted to share with you. If you do not already have my book, then I would please appreciate if you would go to the book section of my website. There's a little tail, but you can buy it here. Audible is the audio version. You can listen to me read it for 7 hours and 4 minutes. You can buy a signed copy directly from me, which is preferred, or you can buy it on Amazon. So Zoom kicked me off of the meeting and ended the live stream. So I'm coming back later when Papa is up in the next room. And I just watched a video of Wayne Dyer doing a demonstration of muscle testing when you are holding the image of shame compared to when you are holding the image of when you felt most loved, and the difference in strength because of the amount of energy that it is actually in that memory where the shame is concerned. Because if we feel shame around something, it's because a part of us was literally left there. And we've got to call it back into the present moment. And we need support in order to welcome back a part of us that we didn't like before, that isn't going to feel good when it shows back up. And that we have to really facilitate the reintegration of aspects of ourselves that are going to allow us to become more whole. Come be more whole. Be more soulful, to allow yourself to actually merge body, mind, spirit, heart, and soul all in the now, taking our power back from all of the entities we've gained identities from previously. These are the things that we are going to do tonight, 4 till 7 o'clock. We're going to come into good company, and then you have the 66 days to transform yourself image series that I've been sending out for the last few days. So without a doubt, I want you to feel supported. I want you to feel connected. I want you to feel plugged in. And I also want you to be aware of where you're already plugged in and what is calling your energy. Because your energy is how you actually use the team that are your time, energy, effort, attention, and money. So how you deploy your team determines how you use your energetic resources. Your energetic resources also include the people in our life. And when I went through what I did, I remember being told, do not squander your social capital. In terms of, don't make people see you to be the girl who cried wolf, which I did for many. 942, I own it. I get it. I would have done better if I could have. Now I can and can't change it then. And I'm grateful, because ultimately not doing well helped me get better for when the well gets low, how to replenish it myself, because I know how to self-care. I've been to those low emotional places and had to call back parts of myself that really didn't feel good when they came back. And don't even for a moment think that I didn't resist the process too. Don't even for a minute think that I like pain, change, fear, or challenge, frustration any more than anyone else. Please don't get that misinterpretation, because it is not true. I do not enjoy it any more than anyone else, but I am willing to do it now compared to when it's too late and I'm forced into it with everyone else who is also forced, and then we're vying from a survival level, whereas I would prefer to create from a level of thrivalism, as my friend Neil Sperling often speaks of, his movement initiative that he saw and is needing to bring into form in terms of putting a box around the concept, which is what all ideologies, theologies, philosophies, all of the ologies are about. The call comes in, without a doubt. It is time. Do you need the volume?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
But I don't need them to talk.
Oh, good. Perfect. Okay. Yay. All right. How exciting is that? So we're going to be putting boxes, which is a framework around what it means to actually be in harmonious community. We are going to start figuring out what it means to have a harmonious and loving inner kingdom, which will allow us to then have that within the domains that we lay claim to as the ones who have proper tea, because per means of oneself. Be there for our own person. I can't remember the specific definition, but I already laid it out earlier. So if you were paying attention, you'll know. And this is how we grow. And we do it in community so that no one of us has to do all of the reading and all of the watching of videos, which so many of us do so much of. It's a lot of team that we're already investing to know what we do. But if we stay up here, we're not in here. So the challenge that I'm going to be presenting tonight is, instead of talking from here and trying to connect all of the dots of information, I want to connect from here and actually get back into resonance with one another. And obviously, we can only do that together. So I am very much looking forward to tonight at Vivian's from 4 till 7, and I hope you will join. And if you can't, then leave a comment where you are and what you've got going on instead that excites and delights you, because having passion is the first part of being a peaceful inner warrior united and untied from the matrix. We're matrix because she doesn't know any better, because we are experiencing 5th generational warfare, MK Ultra programming, and so many more forms of terrorism that we can't even imagine it, because evil is lived backwards. And if we are vying for life, we are not fearing death. But if it's the reverse, if we are fearing death, we will not live. And I'm reminded of the quote by Paulo Coelho in The Alchemist, that today is as good as any to die. No tomorrow is better than today, so long as we have lived our lives fully. taken chances, went on adventures, ate good food, made amazing love, did the things that just excited and delighted your 3D form in a way that only you could do if you were in form. That's what we're here to do as individuated expressions of the grand overall designer who created all of us. Us meaning there is no exclusion, there is no them. We are them too. Imagine that. We have all the aspects within us, and if we will not own it and face it internally, we will experience it and face it externally. What gets impressed must get expressed. And if we won't express it, the universe will give it back to us in the form of cooperative parts of people, places, and things. And those people, places, and things will challenge us to grow and get that which we thought we didn't have, or which we wanted more of, which would give us an opportunity to practice the fact we already had it. Being it is very different from doing or having it. And we have to understand how the verb tenses create the verbiage that we live our lives by. In the age of the verbs that were led in diction, that was appointed and scribed and fiat issued by men and women who got on board with and on side with those who have a cause they believe in too and can put their energetic resources into, which is what this Peaceful Inner Warriors United initiative is asking of you. If you're interested, just even 1-2% of your energy, that would be more than enough to supercharge this movement to be able to actually wake every single man and woman, child awake to say that we are the players on the field of consciousness alive right now. Whatever age we are at right now is exactly how we were meant to face this challenge now, or it would have been different, and it's not. So it is the way it's meant to be. Everything is happening for us. Things may feel like they happen to us when we are in a victim mentality, looking up at all the ways that we are being disadvantaged. Or we can see the advantage in being able to create our way out of a challenge, to exercise the skills that we have to find a way out when there was none, proclaimedly. Some would say it's impossible, and I say I am possible. That's an attitudinal shift that makes it I am possible instead of impossible. Don't you see? With your inner eye, the one that will align you with the divinity that is flowing to and through you like a lamp that gets illuminated when the heart is supercharged. So Papa has been patient and silent in the next room for long enough. I'm going to release you and him too and say, please do give this a like, comment what it means to you and for you, what you're going to do with it, and share it with a friend who could either use the invite to Vivian's tonight or who just wants to know that we are fighting the good fight, but we are saying that fire cannot be combated with fire. Mm-hmm. They're talking about a submarine being struck and those up top not knowing what is going on deeper down below, which is exactly what this whole emotionality component of the way things are is flowing. So we're going to be going deeper than what anyone with suits will be able to take us, because we're going down to the depths of what is real. Oh, wow. Can you feel that? Exciting. I hope you have a great day. You're going to have a great night. If you're there, you will too. Have a good one. Bye, Jay. Namaste, namago for today.